So I see a lot of kind faces and kind of faces. There's a lot of different, you say kind faces and kind of faces. So thank you for joining. And imagine all of you, almost, I see here 159. All of you got front row seats. Can you believe that? That is the blessing of COVID. So in COVID, we can become Kovida. Kovida means scholar. So Kovida. So I enjoy online because evening time, no traveling, especially this season. So no difficulty in coming on time. On time means 6:45. That is on time. Means we start at 7 o'clock, but you can listen and see how beautifully the children have chanted. So these 5 days, we get to listen to the chanting of the children. They are chanting the same verses what I'm going to explain. So you not only get to listen to the chanting, you also get to know the meaning of it and enjoy reflecting upon it. And these verses are meant for abiding in it, because these verses are glorifying our own Gurudev. Remember, Gurudev said, whenever you need me, close your eyes and look into your heart, and I will be there. So if you want to feel his presence, these are the verses which can make you feel his presence. So the chanting of the children was so beautiful. So I thank all the children who are learning. I thank the parents who are behind this glorious endeavor. Chanting is enchanting, especially by children. For adults, if we know the chanting, if we know the verses by memory, then one word we can take and reflect upon it. We can take a flight in contemplation and meditation, just with one indicator. So beautiful passages. So now Geeta chanting promotion video also is there. Please enjoy that Geeta chanting video. Then you will know what it is. श्रीमद् भगवद् गीता।
ॐ हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ ॐ श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। श्रीमद् भगवद् गीता अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः सांख्ययोगः। अर्जुन उवाच स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का
प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
Hari Om. Now, I should see that all 164 at least should register for the Gita chanting competition. So you have so many varieties of categories, even reading, writing, not arithmetic, all categories. So there is no excuse for anyone not to choose. So I want all of you try. Or you be the judge also. The judges also is a great thing. So many various ways you can participate. Now let's invoke Gurudev's grace and blessings. It's a beautiful song. Read the meaning. There's a meaning in the video. The song you can listen while listening to the invocation of Gurudev's glory. Try to read the meaning. The meaning has come out so beautifully. So let's invoke Gurudev's grace and blessings.
चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये ज्ञानयज्ञप्रचारकं भवभेषजं गुरुमाश्रये ज्ञानयज्ञप्रचारकं भवभेषजं गुरुमाश्रये सिद्धवाडिविराजितं परिपालकं गुरुमाश्रये सिद्धवाडिविराजितं परिपालकं गुरुमाश्रये चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये सत्यज्ञानप्रबोधकं सर्वसिद्धिरूपकमाश्रये सत्यज्ञानप्रबोधकं नित्यज्ञानप्रबोधकं सर्वसिद्धिरूपकमाश्रये शास्त्रसागरतत्त्वजं श्रीतपोवनात्मजमाश्रये शास्त्रसागरतत्त्वजं श्रीतपोवनात्मजमाश्रये चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये चिन्मयं शशिशेखरं परमानन्दं गुरुमाश्रये.
So this bhajan really takes you into your heart. So now we will listen to Gurudev himself and then we'll enter into the text. So let's enjoy listening to Gurudev's Gita 365.
Here are the 8 steps that show how a man can perish through wrong thinking. 1. Thoughts. 2. Attachment. 3. Desire. 4. Anger. 5. Delusion. 6. Loss of memory. 7. No discrimination. 8. Perishes.
A man who is merely thinking, that is how it starts, of Vishaya, of sense organs. Ayyo, the neighbor's wife is very beautiful. How nice she is. You go on thinking about it. Now you are not doing anything. You are a morally great person, ethically a perfect, a gentleman. But this is how it starts. Jayado Vishayan Pumsaha. And when that thought of her, or that land, that property, whatever it is, once you start thinking, these thoughts increase slowly. This arch of thought that connects you with that object of desire is called Sangasteshu Upajayade. You become extremely attached with that object or that being. So all started with a thought. All these are thoughts only, but the thicker and thicker. Just as drop by drop the water starts falling from the mountain, and when they are become a little more, it becomes a brook, a brooklet, and then brooklets meet together, become a brook. The brooks meet together, becomes a river, and the rivers put together becomes a huge, irresistible power. In the same way, at the thought, if you control, you have controlled. Afterwards, you can never control. It goes on multiplying. It becomes a lust. When your desire is disappointed, that desire impulse itself becomes krodha, wrath, not anger, extreme anger. Krodhad bhavati sammoha. When you are extremely angry, you start seeing things which are not there. When you are angry and extremely angry, you forget everything and you act without the discriminative power. You act like an animal because the intellect is no more there to judge and declare to you or decide for you what should be done, what should not be done. Smriti Brahmshad Buddhinasha. When you are already forgotten all the smriti, memory. Memory is called wisdom. Every one of you have got your own wisdom. The total knowledge that you have got. The medical man has got medical wisdom. The lawyer has got the wisdom of the knowledge of law. What do you mean by knowledge of? Memory. What I have known, read, experienced, all of them put together, memorized, and that total memory is called my wisdom. It is with reference to this wisdom that I judge things. when that wisdom is gone, the intellect cannot judge properly. Buddhi nashad, when that intellect is gone, man minus intellect is worse than an animal. When one's buddhi is gone, you are pranashari, totally destroyed. 8 stages, a ladder of 8 steps, and you start falling down.
So how Gurudev clearly gives that sense control is a must. Now we will know, when we start, the very starting of the chapter, you will know how the connection. See, in the objective science, means your logis, A to Z, anthropology to zoology. There, not only knowing, but also some doing is involved. Especially domestic science. How to make dosa. Not only you should know the recipe, but also know how to do it. In the beginning, when you do dosa, even you cannot eat it. And since you don't want to waste, you somehow thrust into your mouth. This is objective science. That we are all very familiar. But subjective science, not only knowing, the doing part is the being. Knowing and being. Because it is talking about my own self. So when the teacher is telling what you are, who you are, I have to be that. That's called being. Now, after listening to the teacher, after contemplating and meditating, and for years I've been practicing, how to know that I have reached my destination? How to know? Like when you're driving, you use your GPS, and your GPS tells you, you have reached your destination. Your destination is on the right. Like that. Just as your GPS tells you, is there a way? Does the scripture tell us when I reach there, what, when can I say that I reached? Is there a way? Scripture tells us in chapter 2 itself. Now, the BMI chart. How many of you are not familiar with the BMI chart? Because yajna means every week class, I don't explain BMI chart, but this is a yajna. So if you're not familiar with the BMI chart, just give a thumbs up so that I can briefly explain, not elaborately. So some thumbs up is coming. So therefore, some unseen thumbs are coming. So I can explain it, but I'm giving only a bird's, not a very small, tiny bird's eye view, not eagles. Very brief gist of the BMI chart. But Swamiji, how will I know then? Please study the book called Self-Unfoldment. Oh, Swamiji, I should buy that. If you had been your Chinmaya Mission friend for some years, some of your Chinmaya Mission friend, family friend, would have gifted you with that book. So before buying, just go to your book shelf. The book self-unfoldment may be in your shelf. So you have to only do shelf unfoldment. Isn't it? So, but since I have to give the class and I have to explain, it's my duty, my responsibility. So in the beginning itself, I want to give my disclaimer. My disclaimer is, I am only responsible for what I say. I am only responsible for what I say. I am not responsible for what you understand. I am not responsible for what you understand. You may say, Swamiji, I understood like that. That's not my responsibility. So you better pay attention and refer the book Self-Unfoldment for clarification. Now, Gurudev's glorious BMI chart. With this chart, we can easily navigate and trek to the truth. Now, how to make it a brief intro to it? Now, see, you and I or you, I am conscious of my body. I am conscious of my mind. I am conscious of my intellect. Conscious of BMI. Body, mind, intellect. Now, when I say I'm conscious of, what does it mean? When I say I'm conscious of BMI, my understanding should come. That's why I'm saying I'm only responsible for what I'm saying, not for what you understand. But here I'm trying to indicate. When I say I'm conscious of, I should understand. Means what I'm conscious of, I am not. There's so many things you are conscious in your room. Do you think you are those? I'm conscious of that laptop in front of me. I'm conscious of my phone in front of me. I'm conscious of my pointer. I know I am not it. So what I'm conscious of, I am not. More easy to explain from your standpoint. You are conscious of Swami. You call me Swami. South, they call only Swami. North, Swamiji, they had. So you're conscious of Swami. Therefore, very clear for you. And you also know that you are not Swami. Right? You're conscious of Swami. Therefore, you are not Swami. Clear. Now, think from my standpoint. I am also conscious of Swami. Just as you are conscious of Swami, I am also conscious of Swami. In fact, I am much more conscious of Swami. You are only conscious of the physical Swami, mainly the hair and the beard. If hair and beard I remove, if I shave off completely and put tattoos, silver earrings, long silver earrings, and tattoos all over, and dark glasses, dark t-shirt, leather jacket, silver chains, torn, faded jeans, cowboy boots, and I walk into your place, your home. Would you recognize me? You will shut the door immediately. You'll be scared. You cannot recognize. But I, even if shaven or whatever costume I put, I will still be conscious of my body. So you are only conscious of the physical Swami, that only hair and beard. You clearly know that you are not Swami. I'm much more conscious of the Swami. I'm not only conscious of the physical Swami, I'm also conscious of the mental Swami. Don't misunderstand. Mental Swami means I meant the emotional Swami. You may be very happy to know that mental Swami and all. So I'm conscious of the emotional Swami, the psychological Swami, and also the intellectual Swami. Meaning, I'm much more conscious of the Swami. Not only I know my body, I know my feelings, I know my thoughts. Do you know my feelings? Do you know my thoughts? None of you know. But if you tell me that you can know my thoughts, then you will know what I really think about you. You don't want to know. So you know only my physical body and you know you are not Swami. I know my body. I also know my feelings and thoughts. So I am much more not the Swami. Because much more conscious. Not only the physical, not only the psychological, but also the intellectual. Much more conscious. Therefore, much more not the Swami. Think. But much more not Swami for me, not for you. Don't misunderstand. You should still call me Swamiji or Swami, offer Bhiksha and offer more Gurudakshina, because as you get older and older, you are not able to eat much. Therefore, offer more Gurudakshina. There at least I will not be satisfied. When you're giving me little food, I'm satisfied. But more Gurudakshina, I don't think I'll be. You can try it by giving more Gurudakshina. Ask me, Swamiji, are you satisfied? You try. So my condition is, you are very clear that you are not Swami because you're conscious of. Therefore, what's wrong in you calling me a Swami? Nothing wrong. Because you don't become Swami. When you are conscious of Swami, you are not. You know you are not Swami and you don't become Swami. But look at my condition. I am not only conscious of the physical Swami, emotional Swami, intellectual Swami, much more conscious of the Swami. Therefore, I cannot be the Swami from my standpoint. So what is happening? I'm not only conscious of my BMI, but I'm also identifying with my BMI. I identify with my BMI, identify with the Swami, and becoming the Swami, I start transacting. That's when I'm conscious of BMI and identify with my BMI. Then what happens? There arises the individuality called the PFT, perceiver. Perceiver means through the sense organs: seer, hearer, smeller, taster, toucher, called perceiver. And to make you dig deep into perceiver, your own languages, perceiver in Telugu, because I like Telugu the best because of my teacher. If your teacher is great, you love that language. So my Telugu teacher was so great, and I like talking Telugu in English. So what is perceiver in Telugu? Perceiveru. Perceiveru. They add u. Perceiveru means seeru, smelleru, tasteru, toucheru. See that? It's called perceiver. Seer, hearer, smeller, taster, toucher. Not only perceiver, but also performer. Through the organs of perception, through organs of knowledge, perceiver. Through organs of action, performer. So when I'm conscious of BMI, when I identify with my body, becoming the body, I become perceiver, performer. Same, identifying with my mind, becoming the mind, I become feeler, feeleroo. Identifying with the intellect, becoming the intellect, I become thinker, thinkeroo. This identification comes due to moha, delusion. I forget myself and I become what I am conscious of. See, when I am talking, you don't identify with me. But my father, many people told me, Swamiji, I don't know whether, because he used to sit very far. They used to come and tell somebody, others are watching my father's face. How I'm making my faces, my father also will be making faces like that. Swamiji, he is also talking along with you. But you need not go that far. Bala Vihar, annual day or some program, when the dance program, when the daughter is dancing, because I have to see all the dances. You are all so lucky. Whenever you want to get up and go, you can go, but I can't go. So I have to watch all the dances. And some dances for some entertainment, what I do is, I know the child's mother. So when I look at the child, then I look at the mother. I could see that daughter is dancing on the stage. I see mother dancing on the chair. This is called identification. One mother told me, when my daughter goes round and round dancing, I get a chakkar. I get, dizzy. Daughter on the stage is doing round and round. Mother cannot look. Why? She gets dizzy. This is called identification. Yeah. Exactly our story. Why we are so fascinated by the movies. How many woods are there? Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood. Yeah. But I enjoy telling one particular story because it really hammers the identification, that idea of identification. I went to one of the members' home. Before and all, I used to go travel a lot. When I reached the home of the member, as soon as as just entering with my suitcase, she asked me, Swamiji, did you see the movie Abhiman? Abhiman movie, have you seen? I said, no, I have not seen. I knew that you might not have seen. Swamiji, I brought it. I knew you should see that movie. You must see it. And I brought the DVD. I had TVs downstairs in the basement. Please come. I said, just now I have come. Just now. Let me at least use restroom. Yeah. You use restroom and come. By the time I'll arrange everything downstairs in the basement. So she went in the basement. And I was going upstairs to the restroom. There, her husband up on the stairs met me and said, Swamiji, do you know why she wants you to see the movie? I said, no. Swamiji, I will give you a brief introduction. I said, may I first use the restroom? Yeah, Swamiji, you use and come. And after you come back, I'll give you a brief introduction. I said, okay. And in about 5 minutes, I came back. I said, Swamiji, why she wants you to see? Because she thinks that I am jealous of her singing. The husband is saying, my wife thinks I am jealous of her singing. Therefore, she wants you to see this movie. I said, what? Swamiji, I tell you the truth. I am not at all jealous of her singing. The fact is, I don't like her singing. I don't like it, Swamiji. I'm not jealous. Why should I be jealous? I don't like it. And I tell you, Swamiji, if you listen to her singing, you will also not like it. You may even hate it. But she thinks I am jealous of her singing. Therefore, she wants you to see the movie. Swamiji, please go. What a brief introduction. So, okay, with this knowledge, I went down to the basement. When I go to the basement, what do I see? 72-inch television. And for me, she has arranged the sofa, not ordinary sofa, the lazy boy, not ordinary lazy boy, vibrating lazy boy. And she gave me the remote also. Swamiji, you can stretch it and you can vibrate anything. You want to vibrate your feet, vibrate your calf muscles, you can vibrate your bottom, you can vibrate your back, your shoulders, your neck, whatever you want to vibrate, you can vibrate. Remote given. And then to my right, what do I see? All Gujarati snacks. Gujarati snacks, Surat nu Jaman, Kashi nu Maran, so many glorious, wonderful snacks on my right. To my left, all American, etc., popcorn, Doritos, tortilla, soda, everything. What more do you want? So I stretched the sofa and turned on the vibrator. It's because of my neck. So I put the vibrator on the shoulders and the neck, and I was. Now, I thought best thing to start is with the popcorn. I took the popcorn and started. Then she calls her husband. Are you coming? We are starting. Her husband has to come every time she shows the movie. He has to come. And I saw him coming down with a new box of Kleenex. He was coming down. It's not Kleenex because you need it, because so many snacks are there, so you need it. So he came down and he kept a Kleenex opened up and in front of his wife. I said, who can tell that this husband can be jealous of the wife? He's so dutiful. He's fulfilling all the duties of a husband. Such a dutiful husband. He kept it very near her with one tissue lifted. And the movie started. Eating popcorn. All of us are eating popcorn and enjoying. In the beginning, it's a beautiful movie. Wonderful movie. Enjoying. Very nice. And slowly, the scenes became tragic. The heroine started crying. When the heroine started crying, in the beginning, I was hearing the cry from the front. Suddenly, the crying sound became surround sound. I could hear it from my right side also. Surround sound, crying sound. I said, what is sudden? And I see her crying vigorously, eating popcorn and crying. When I saw this is more interesting. That movie there, a fake crying. Here I can enjoy the real cry. That too, she's eating popcorn, and I started looking at her and enjoying it. Seeing me, seeing her, the husband also turned. He was on her right, and he looked. He also was fascinated. He also started looking at her. Both of us are enjoying her cry. Luckily, she saw him, her husband, seeing her. She didn't see me. She saw him, and she got angry. What are you seeing? Very angrily. Immediately, moment I heard that, I turned myself. I said, why unnecessarily? And I was totally focusing on the movie. Now see, if you analyze what happened to her, she was so conscious of the heroine. Who is the heroine? I know, you know the heroine very well. You know, Jayabhadri Swami. What a memory you have. And you complain, Swamiji, I don't have memory. Especially Gita chanting, no memory, Swamiji. Very, very difficult to remember, very difficult to memorize the Gita verses. But this Jayabhadri, when did you see this movie? Oh, 20 saal. 20 years ago I saw some. How do you remember? So don't tell me that you don't have the power of memory. You have the power of memory, but your power of memory is only for kachada stuff. Kachada. Phaltu jnana, it's called. Phaltu jnana. Useless stuff, I remember. I enjoy remembering garbage. I enjoy remembering Kachada. What to do? So don't tell you don't have memory power. You have the power of memory. So this identification is our own story. Therefore, the movies are so popular. Every movie you identify. The moment you start identifying, you enjoy watching it. Some movies are there you cannot identify. In India, especially, I used to see some movies I could not identify. And they are called award movies. 1 rupee ticket. I said, who gave award to this? You could not identify. But here other movies, moment the movie starts, you're so conscious of the hero, you're so conscious of the heroine, and you become the hero or the heroine. Don't think only women identify with the heroine and cry and all. Men also identify. The man identifies with the hero. And he thinks he is the hero. I tell him, my dear man, you cannot be that hero. You cannot be that, because if you are a hero, they will never take the movie. But he identifies. So our own life story is the story of identification with. We are so conscious of the body, like so conscious of Jayabadri. We are so conscious of the body, identify with the body, have become the body. Now, why this particular BMI? Why this particular body? Why this mind? Why this intellect? Why not have a buffalo body? Because behavior wise, no difference. But why this particular BMI? It's because of the vasanas. This equipment, BMI, and not only the equipment, but the environment. The equipment and the environment, both are determined by my own vasanas. Only in this BMI I can exhaust my vasanas. So the divine intelligence facilitates my BMI and facilitates my environment to exhaust my vasanas. But what is happening? While exhausting the vasanas in the particular equipment, in the particular environment, as a human being, I not only exhaust my vasanas, but also accumulate new vasanas. That is the tragedy. But whereas animals, plants or animals only exhaust their vasanas. They don't accumulate new vasanas. Why animals don't accumulate new ones? They only exhaust. Because animals don't have ego. Have you observed in your own home? When you come home from office, you had a bad day. Your boss was left and right insulting you. So you came home and the dog, as usual, comes running towards you. Yeah, because you're mad, you shout at your dog, get out. What will the dog do? It just goes. Silently goes off. And then you come inside and then you make a cup of tea and then you cool down and you're sitting and then you see the dog sitting far and you call, Jimmy, come. What will the dog do? Moment you call the dog, just 5 minutes later, you're lovingly calling, Jimmy. The dog has no regrets whatsoever. It comes running and comes and licks at your face. And you tell, shaking the dog, I'm sorry. I shouted at you. I'm sorry. And the dog doesn't mind at all. Now, this you try on your spouse. I said spouse. When you come home, your spouse comes very lovingly. How was your day? How was my day? Stupid. Get out. You should see the face of your spouse at that time. Then you come and you make a cup of tea and you sit down, and then you see the spouse, and then you, darling, you call. What will happen? Darling, idiot, all those comes. Why? At that time when you shouted, running is fine, but after 5 minutes, you're lovingly calling, like you lovingly called the dog. The dog comes running, but your spouse will not. Why? Regrets. They experience. She will not come, or he will not come. That's ego. Ego belongs to the past, dead past. And then you fabricate the future from the dead past. So ego is never in the present. Ego belongs to the dead past. Ego belongs to the unborn future. Therefore, ego is not there. Dead past, not there, dead. Unborn future, not there, unborn. And this ego, which is not there, is creating a havoc. So only as humans, we not only exhaust our existing vasanas or tendencies or selfishness or egocentric desires. So selfishness is vasanas. Selfish desires are the product of vasanas. So based on the vasanas, your equipment and environment. So here our rishis, they tell us, hey man, if you exhaust your existing vasanas without accumulating new ones, then when all the vasanas are exhausted and no new vasanas are creeping in, then you get to know who you are. So how to exhaust our vasanas without accumulating new ones? The technique is, when you are working without selfishness and selfish desires, then you are exhausting all the vasanas without accumulating new ones. This is called karma yoga, the spirit of karma yoga. Gurudev used to give it so beautifully, karma yoga. He says, what you have, the talents physical, the talents emotional, the talents intellectual, is all gift of God. What you have is his gift. Now, what you do with what you have, make it your gift to him. And he used to put the punchline, embarrass him with your gift. This you might have observed in the marriages and all. A wedding invitation comes, and the husband is reading the wedding invitation. Says, Chi Sau Kum. Chi Sau Kum. Kanaka Durga. It is Chi Sau Kum. Chi, beautiful word is there called Chiranjeevi, Saubhagyavati, Kumari, Kanaka Durga. But they don't put Chiranjeevi, Saubhagyavati, Kumari, Kanaka Durga. They will not put Chi Sau Kum. What is Chi Sau Kum? Horrible. So what to do? And the husband reads and he asks his wife, hey, this is a bride party. We belong to them. And they came to our wedding. Did they come to our wedding? He asks. The wife knows thoroughly. She knows. In South India, I used to observe in the good old days, I mean the olden days, till 83, I was watching the marriage. After 83, I never watched any marriage. Only the movies I get to see. There in South India, the South Indian bride, her head will be always down. The entire marriage. But she knows who all have come. How? Divya Drishti. She said, yeah, she came. They came. I saw. How saw? And husband asked, what did they give us for our wedding? What did they give? What they gave? They gave only katori. Small katori. And the husband asked, silver katori? No, not silver. Ever silver means never silver katori. Husbands, oh, they gave katori, ever silver, never silver, that they gave. We'll give them a ever silver chamcha. This is not giving, is a barter system. You have to embarrass them. How? They gave katori, you give a big, huge handa. Wrap it up with a gaudy, glossy, colorful gift wrapper. And then when you go to the marriage, when you're giving it to the bride, whisper, this is your gift. Our anniversary. Our anniversary is next month. Please come. Now the bride looks, we gave a small katori. Look at them, they're giving a huge handa. And luckily their anniversary is next month. So we should make it up. So they will try. So to remember, what I have, my physical talents, my emotional beauties, my intellectual brilliancies, these are all gift of God. So what should I do? You give your talent to him. Dedicate your talents to that pure altar. Give your talents without selfishness and selfish desires. So when you're thus offering without selfishness and selfish desires, your existing selfishness gets exhausted, no new selfishness gets accumulated. Then when selfishness disappears, self alone remains. Therefore, what should I do? Whenever I'm conscious of my own selfishness, what I should do? Then it is my responsibility to erase the selfishness. If I'm not conscious of my selfishness, what can I do? I'm helpless. If I'm conscious of my selfishness, I should take every step to delete immediately my selfishness. But if I'm not conscious, what should I do? Then I need not worry. So I need not, if I'm not conscious, I need not, yes, because you are not conscious of it. Others will be conscious of it. And it is their prarabdha to suffer my selfishness. They have to suffer the stink of my selfishness. If I am conscious of my selfishness, then it is my responsibility to erase it. Because you know how selfishness stinks. When you see somebody else selfish, you don't like it. When I don't like others being selfish, how can I be selfish? So selfishness stinks. That's why I tell the children, you sell fish. You sell fish. You stink. Pure self-consciousness, Chinmaya, cannot be selfish. So I started off, a conscious of BMI. That consciousness, that pure consciousness is Chinmaya. And that pure self, pure consciousness cannot be selfish. The more I identify with the pure self, pure consciousness, Chinmaya, then less and less selfish I become. But in my moha means delusion. In my moha of delusion, I misunderstand what I'm conscious of as I. I think I am BMI, and thus become perceiver I, performer I, feeler I, thinker I. Therefore, Lord says in verse 52, if you go to chapter 2, verse 52, how Lord tells. He says, Yada te mohakalilam buddhihi vyatitarishyati. Yada te buddhihi mohakalilam vyatitarishyati. Meaning, when your intellect goes beyond delusion, Now, look here carefully. Look here. Delusion here, illusion there. It's a consequence. Delusion here in my intellect. My perception will be an illusory perception. So delusion at my intellect, then my senses will perceive the illusory perception, delusory feeling, delusory thinking. So delusion here, illusion there. Delusion regarding the rope. Delusion regarding the rope here. I don't know it is rope. Then I misunderstand that innocent rope as snake. Delusion regarding the post. Then when I don't know it is post, then I misunderstand it as ghost, not Washington Post. Isn't it? So because of delusion, means my intellect does not know that I am the pure consciousness. I am that divine consciousness, Chinmaya. My intellect doesn't know. Then what happens? Consequence. The illusory, delusory identification with the not self, the BMI. This comes and goes. That which illumines the coming and going of the BMI, the not self, that is the self. The self is always there, illuminating the coming of the ego, the going of the ego, coming of the perceiver I, going of the perceiver I, coming of the feeler I, going of the feeler I, coming of the thinker I, going of the thinker I. This coming and going is illuminated by the pure consciousness. Now, see, if you are a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a Swami, before studying medicine or law or engineering or Vedanta, I was there. Now, before studying Vedanta, I was not Swami. After studying Vedanta, I became Swami. So who is that I that was there before becoming Swami or doctor or lawyer? Think. No doubt after I study law or medicine or engineering or Vedanta, I become. But before this, I was there. So when I discovered that I like to call it as I as I. Then that I was conscious of my intellect's knowledge, medicine or engineering or law or Vedanta. Then I call myself I as I became I as Swami. Isn't it? So when my intellect, moha kalilam, because of delusion, this erroneous, delusory identification with the not self, when this moha kalilam, when my intellect goes beyond this delusion, beyond this delusory identification, then tada gantasi nirvedam. Nirvedam means vairagyam. Vairagyam prapyasi. When I realize that I am not this, vairagya has to come. For what? Vairagya for what? Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Now, vairagya means not mere dvesha, not mere hating. Opposite of raga is not vairagya. Vairagya really means neither raga nor dvesha. Like for toys, I don't have attachment for toys, nor do I have aversion for the toys. Why? Why I don't have attachment to toys or aversion to the toys? Because I am not a child. See, the identification has changed. As a child, I was attached to toys. If I don't get it, when the child doesn't get the toy, you should see Ragam, Talam, Pallavi, Kathakali and all starts. But as an adult. See, the identification changed. When I was identified as BMI, then attachment for OET. I'm attached to some objects, attached to some emotions, attached to some ideas. Or aversion for some objects, some things and beings, aversion. Some aversion for emotions, some aversions for the ideas. So attachment and aversion to OET can come only when I am a BMI. Like when I am child, I'm attached to toys. But as an adult, I am not attached to toys, nor aversion. So this identification matters. Identified as a child alone attached to toys. As an adult, I am not attached to toys, nor is there aversion. Both are not there. Because I grew. So, vairagyam gantasi. Tada gantasi nirvedam. For what? Shrotavyasya, shrutasya cha. Shrotavyasya means what all you want to hear in the future. Shrutasya means what all you have heard. So you have no more any attachment or aversion for what all you have heard. No more attachment or aversion for what you want to hear in the future. Now, just don't misunderstand that only what you want to hear or what you have heard. This is an idiom. It has to be understood for all physical, emotional, intellectual experiences. No more any craving for any of the objects. So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, no more craving. Why? I am not the body. Therefore, no attachment for seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. I am not the mind. Therefore, no attachment for any emotions. I am not the intellect. Therefore, no attachment or aversion for thoughts, ideas, concepts. If I am BMI, then naturally attachment or aversion. So this identification should be very carefully understood. So because of the moha, delusion regarding my own self, I don't know I am consciousness. As pure consciousness, as the pure self, no selfishness is possible. But I misunderstand BMI as I, the not self. Selfishness can creep in only from the not self, never from the self. Now, when I realize yada te moha kalilam buddhihi vyatitarishyati, when my intellect goes beyond the delusion, tada gantasi nirvedam, I get vairagya for not only OET, also vairagya for BMI. No more attachment and aversion for my BMI, no more attachment or aversion for OET. Because I am not it. Think. So because of this vairagya, my study of the scriptures start. Listening to the scriptures, I start enjoying it. One person told me, Swamiji, after listening to your talks and all, you know what happened? Nobody invites me for any party. Christmas party and all, nobody invites me. Then I found out, because when he goes to the party, he talks Vedanta in the party. When people come near him, he said, do you know Lord Sri Krishna in Gita chapter 2, verse number 52, he said, before he could start, the people around said, sir, please wait, sir. We'll come back soon. We'll refresh and come. They never come back. Isn't it? They'll never come back. And then thereafter, what happens? You are blacklisted in all the parties. Nobody will invite you for the party. Suppose they did not, one of the host did not know, they invited you by mistake. And then they come to know. Immediately they will call you. The host himself or herself will call you and tell you what? You are uninvited. I was surprised to hear this word uninvited. You are uninvited. Terrible. One child told me that she called her friend and said, for a birthday party. You are uninvited to my birthday party. I was shocked. So this is also possible. So they'll call you and tell. So suppose, so if you don't want people to call you for parties, what you should do? When you go there, anybody coming near you, start. You only have to tell 1 or 2 sentences. What? You know, Lord Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 52. That's all you have to say. They will disappear. You'll become a repellent for the parties. No more. Now, when you're listening to the scriptures, because of Vairagya has come, you're listening. Generally, many seekers, when they listen to the scriptures, depends upon which guru you get. If you get a Gurudev, you not only enjoy the teaching, but also you start learning. But it's your prarabdha, who you will get. So you get confused with the scriptural jargon. The jargon of scriptures may confuse you. It becomes confusing. Thus in verse 53, Lord Krishna says, Shruti vipratipannate yada sthasyati nischala. Shruti vipratipannate buddhihi yada sthasyati nischala. Meaning, when you are listening to the scriptures, you are not confused or confounded. Your mind is no longer confused, especially by karma kanda, upasana kanda, jnana kanda. These all they'll bombard you with all the technical terms. So what is the karma kanda, upasana kanda, jnana kanda? What are all these? If you really analyze karma kanda, karma as karma yoga becomes a detergent to purify your mind and intellect. A purifier. So karma kanda is meant for purifying your mind and intellect. For purity. Means when you're working without selfishness and selfish desires, the stink of selfishness gets destroyed, and then you become pure. No more selfish. No more the stink of selfishness in your perceptions or performances. No more selfishness in your feelings. No more selfishness in your ideas. So so you get this knack. Karma kanda should tell me. Karma yoga should teach me what? Whenever I'm conscious of selfishness, I should immediately erase it. It is my responsibility if I am conscious of it. If I'm conscious of my selfishness, my responsibility to erase. If I'm not conscious, then others prarabdha to suffer my selfishness. So karma kanda, to purify. Upasana kanda. Upasana kanda is for concentration. How to concentrate. There's a beautiful story of Judge Ramaswamy. Every day he used to come down the stairs exactly at 8 o'clock for breakfast. And his granddaughter used to watch. One day when he was coming down, exactly at 8 o'clock, his turban, in those days they used to wear turban, dhoti and a coat. He's a judge. Turban, coat and dhoti. And the dhoti is with a belt. When he's coming down in a hurry-burry, I think that day, the turban slips from his head and falls like a white carpet on the stairway, on the stairs. So he picks it up. That day, the granddaughter saw the honey-dew head of her grandfather. That's the day she saw. She was thrilled to see the honey-dew head, bald head. So he came down, and now he's trying to tie the turban. When he's trying to tie the turban, it is slipping. So 2-3 times, and the granddaughter was enjoying it, how it is slipping. So the grandfather saw in the sidelong glance she's enjoying, but then suddenly saw in the end of the stair, there's a dome. He ties the turban to the dome. Tight. Now the granddaughter is more shocked. What happened to my grandfather? He's tying the turban to the dome, not on his head. He ties it tight on the dome and lifts it up and puts it on his head, because the dome is exactly the size of his head. This is called upasana. See, when you try to turn your attention on your own self, the pure self, ISI. Then what happens? The attention derails, slips. Therefore, you need a solid, concentrated murti. My murti is my own guru. We watched him so clearly. We can easily rivet our attention unto him. So we tie our attention on the altar. Like that grandfather, Judge Ramaswamy was tying the turban on the dome. I tie my attention on my altar. And then that attentiveness, I put it on myself. That attentiveness, the attention you tie on the altar, that attentiveness you put on yourself. Then easy to turn your attention to ISI and you merge. So Upasana Kanda is meant for concentration. Karma Kanda for purification. Upasana Kanda for concentration. Then what is Jnana? For abidance. You abide as ISI thereafter. You realize I am that pure consciousness and remain as consciousness 24/7. This Jnana will help. So yada te buddhihi shruti vipratipanna sthasyati nischala. When your mind and intellect not anymore confused by the scriptures, it exclusively turns its attention to ISI. No more confused. The attention is riveting totally. That you have gathered the attentiveness and you're placing it on ISI. Attention on the self as ISI. Other than ISI, nothing else is priority. Then samadhavachala buddhihi tada yogam avapsasi. Samadhav, your M&I merges into samadhi. When your mind and intellect crosses over the delusion, no more confused, and merges into that pure self, Chinmaya, then tada yogam avapsasi. Then when you are face to face with the reality, tada, then when you're face to face with ISI, what happens to your intellect? Intellect was going there, exclusively the intellect's attention is going there. When it comes face to face with the reality, intellect is stultified, wonderstruck. Intellect stultified means intellect is thoughts, and Gurudev used to beautifully dramatize. Intellect stultified means intellect is nothing but thoughts. The last thought, thoughted. And no new thought, thoughting. See the words used. Last thought, thoughted. No new thought, thoughting. What happens? Intellect stultified. No new thought, thoughting. Wonderstruck. What is wonder? Wonder means, if you observe your intellect, very smart, very brilliant. Whatever experiences you are experiencing, physical or emotional or intellectual, whatever experiences, your intellect starts giving the running commentary. What is that? What is that? Your intellect answers, oh, that is only somebody left. Oh, a new person has entered. See how your intellect starts giving a running commentary. But at a given experience, when my intellect looks at that experience and shocked, wonderstruck means the intellect cannot answer. The intellect is wonderstruck. The intellect is out of town. Intellect ran away. That's called intellect stultified. And you ask, what is that? What is that? What is that? Intellect is not there. Intellect out of town. Last thought, thoughted. No new thought, thoughting. You are face to face with the reality. Even Kathopanishad mantra also declares, so beautiful the mantra, Yada panchavatishtante jnanani manasa saha buddhischa na vicheshtate tamahu paramam gatim. Beautiful mantra. If you refer the Upanishad, chapter 2, section 3, verse 10. Not that you will refer, but my responsibility. Yada means when. Panchavadishtante jnanani. Pancha jnanani means the 5 jnanani, 5 organs of knowledge, meaning 5 sense organs. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. Pancha jnanani avadishtante, meaning the 5 senses. The 5 senses, the organs of knowledge, they're not perceiving anything. I am not perceiving anything. Meaning, I'm not seeing anything, not hearing, not smelling, not tasting, not touching anything. Then, manasa saha, my mind also is not feeling anything. Buddhischa na vicheshtate, even my buddhi, my intellect is not gurgling with new desires. My sense organs are not perceiving, my mind not feeling, my intellect not thinking. Yada panchavadishtante jnanani, yada pancha jnanani avadishtante, not perceiving. Manasa saha, mind not feeling. Buddhischa na vicheshate, intellect is not gurgling with new desires, new ideas. Then the Rishi reveals, Tam ahu, that state. Tam ahu paramam gatim, the supreme state, the supreme goal, he says. That is the supreme goal. Means, when my senses are not perceiving, when my mind is not feeling, when my intellect is not thinking, then I reach my goal. Now you may say, Hiya, Swamiji, thank God you told me in the very first class. This is so easy, Swamiji. After your class, we are having I only need my favorite food. And then my comfortable bed. So easy to go to this state. I prepared my favorite food. After your class, I'll enjoy my favorite food and my favorite bed. Then, after food and in 1 hour's time, I lie down under my comforter, very comfortable. And then my senses are not perceiving, I'm not seeing, I'm not hearing, I'm not smelling, I'm not tasting, I'm not touching, I'm not feeling, I'm not thinking. And I glide into a sound state. Sound means sound sleep. Why sound sleep? With the sound. This sound sleep, can it be the Paramam Gatim? The sleep state is the state of ignorance, where I know nothing. Ignorance will not be glorified by our rishis. That is why Shastram Patha Guru Mukhat. With the teacher's help, I have to study the scripture, not by Google or anything. At least 1 or 2 scriptures, 1 or 2 Upanishads, I should study directly from a glorious teacher. Then only I will appreciate. So therefore understand, when I say I am not perceiving, I am not seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, I am not feeling, I am not thinking, means what? I am there. I am present behind the senses, but I am not perceiving. I am behind the mind, not feeling. I am behind the intellect, not thinking. See that? When I'm not perceiving, not feeling, but still I am, then my intellect is only familiar with the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts. Nothing beyond. When the intellect is not perceiving, not feeling, not thinking, the intellect is stultified. Last thought, thoughted. No new thought, thoughting. Tada! Here the kid says, tada! Tada! Face to face with ISI. The reality. What will be that experience? Intellect has no answer. Intellect ran away. And if you start seeing last thought, thoughted, no new thought, thoughting, All our problems today are because of the terrible thoughts. How many of you tell, Ayo, Swamiji, I am persecuted by my thoughts, punished by my thoughts. All psychiatric business is because of thoughts. So our problem is today thoughts. And Swamiji, you are saying last thoughted. No new thoughting. How? Now, you say your thoughts are bothering you. Yes, thoughts alone are bothering you. Okay, what is a thought? Thoughts, Swamiji, there are a lot of thoughts. They are bothering me. But what is a thought? The thoughts means, Swamiji, they come and they go. What? I'm not asking what thoughts. I'm asking what is a thought? What is the anatomy of a thought? What do you mean by thought? What's the anatomy of a thought? And then you start, oh, what is a thought? Swamiji, I never thought about it. I'll start thinking. Gurudev helps. What is a thought? He says, when you're conscious of an object, then alone a thought can rise. A thought cannot be without an object. Without an object, there cannot be a thought. Think. So, consciousness plus object is called thought. Consciousness plus object is called thought. Now apply the mathematics. Thought minus object is consciousness. Thought minus object is objectless awareness, pure consciousness, Chinmaya. See that? So when I am conscious and I'm consciously not perceiving, not feeling, not thinking, my intellect is stultified. Tada. Then face to face with the pure self, I realize I am that objectless awareness, the pure self, pure consciousness, Chinmaya. That's here the Lord concludes. And Lord felt, Abba, I have somehow completed. Imagine from verse 11, he was continuing. He thought, Abba, now done. Now look at Arjuna. Arjuna in the second chapter, in the beginning, how he was dejected, weeping. In the first chapter, weeping. Second chapter also, up to 10 verses, he was weeping. He has collapsed. Gurudev used to call hysterical coma. He was in such a condition, the condition of dejection. Such an Arjuna, he comes out listening to the teachings of the Lord Krishna. He comes out of dejection. How to, the way he asks the question, even though the words are very peculiar, we have to appreciate that he has come out of dejection. So he's asking the most wonderful question. His question is, now, today, who is chanting the verse? We'll just listen to the chanting of today, Veda chanting. Gita chanting Veda. Veda chanting Gita. So we'll just chant the verse and then Veda, can you chant by yourself? Please chant by yourself.
Yes, Swamiji.
Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim.
See, so beautiful. So what he says, the one who has gone beyond this realm of change and identified with the changeless, pure consciousness, Chinmaya. when he comes downtown, when he is there, what is he? What is his nature? When he comes downtown to BMI and works amidst us, how does he transact? This is the question. We'll go through the question in detail. Now, see, time flies. I have to stop in time also. So we conclude here, and we will have the Arati, and they can any announcement they will make. So you can start with the Arati.
सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की
Please do namaskaram to the Aarti.